Let me ask every single one of you a question. Have you ever been in a room or a place where you know you're not welcome? That's how Calipari feels at Kentucky. Being stated, I'm told recruits, whoever is tweeting this out, looks like they're associated with the Kentucky basketball program, who are currently committed to Kentucky, have been contacted about flipping to Arkansas. Ooh. Oh, no, what about that? Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I know it's extremely late on your Sunday night, and more than likely, probably, most of you that are watching this video, you're watching it early on your Monday morning, and if that is the case, hope you have a great start to your week, but we have an emergency video because we have an emergency situation on our hands. Rumors and speculations are going around that John Calipari is leaving Kentucky. Now, with that being said, I also know we're mainly a college football channel, and we also love covering the SEC when it comes to football, but regardless of sport, this is some of the biggest news in the SEC. I don't know what the college football equivalent of this would be. Let me know in the comment section, what would be a comparison of this happening in the college football world in the SEC? This is some big time news, and I'm almost 99% sure when you're seeing this video, probably when this video is uploaded, John Calipari will already be named the head coach of Arkansas. I think it's going to happen tonight. I just got off the phone with a very reliable and close source to that Kentucky basketball program, and it's looking like it's all but done. And all this has happened so fast. It just transpired within a couple of hours. And the rumors just started around 8. Well, I say the rumors. It's not even rumors anymore at this point. It's going to happen. But all this conversation, I guess that's a better way to put it, it started around 8:30 or 9:30 p.m. Central Time. You had a bunch of reporters on Twitter saying, hey, I don't know what's going on, but apparently and allegedly, John Calipari in Arkansas, they're entering some serious talks here. And just like with anything else, when you hear something crazy like that, John Calipari leaving Kentucky, everybody on Twitter, they brush it to the side and say, oh yeah, it's just somebody fighting for clicks and views, and they just want attention and blah, 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 blah. And I don't blame them, because if you're on Twitter and you keep up with the sports world, you know about 80% of the stuff you see, it's fake. What really intrigued me and caught my attention with all this is these weren't random people tweeting this out. It was close and reliable sources to Kentucky. The one kicker with this, though, for those of you who don't know, in John Calipari's contract, if he wants to talk to any other team, before he does that, he has to inform Kentucky about it. So, for example, here's what happened here. If John Calipari was even interested in talking to Arkansas, he had to go to Kentucky first and say, hey, I'm looking at going elsewhere, and then he can proceed with the conversations. And that's what happened. But it was originally being stated that the AD of Kentucky, which is Mitch Barnhart, he was stating that Coach Calipari has not notified him yet that he was talking to Arkansas. But, and I have a real big but, for those of you who don't know, John Calipari and Mitch Barnhart, let's just say, they don't have the best relationship of all time. There's definitely some animosity there. And you had a lot of people out here stating, oh yeah, well this isn't happening because John Calipari, he doesn't have his agent ready. There's no way he's talking to Kentucky. And to put the cherry on top of things, he hasn't contacted Mitch Barnhart that he's talking to Arkansas. But just like Aaron Torres tweeted out here, I really like this. It's the second bullet point. It's unlikely that John Calipari is going to be totally forthright with an AD he has privately feuded with for years, and that's what I'm talking about. It's just really comical to me because you got all these people coming out with the news that, oh, well, Mitch Barnhart is telling us that he hasn't even came to him and spoken about potentially leaving Kentucky. And yeah, no crap. The last thing John Calipari is going to do is go to Mitch Barnhart and tell him, hey, I'm leaving. When he goes to Mitch Barnhart, and let me make this clear, that is going to be the nail in the coffin. The only thing he's going to tell Mitch Barnhart is, hey, buddy, I'm out. We'll see you next year, because he's going to Arkansas and they're going to play him. And here's the other part of this that people aren't understanding. John Calipari doesn't have to inform Mitch Barnhart that he's leaving Kentucky. He just has to inform Kentucky. And as to when I'm speaking and making this video, he's already done that. It's Mitch Barnhart, the ones that saying, oh, well, he hasn't told me anything. Well, of course, like I said, you're the last person he's going to speak to. He doesn't like you. And as when I'm speaking right now at this current moment in time, you're now having your official accounts tweet out like Bleacher Report on 3 saying that Kentucky's coach John Calipari is in quote-unquote serious talks on a deal to become the new head coach of Arkansas. If you've been following this situation as closely as myself, I know many of you haven't, but I can't emphasize enough how crazy this is, because at 8 p.m., there wasn't any talks about this whatsoever. At 8:30, some rumors came out. People was like, oh yeah, that's ludicrous. He's not leaving Kentucky to stay in the SEC and go to Arkansas. And at 10 p.m., only 2 hours later from the start of this, you got Bleacher Report, ESPN, all 3, everybody coming out with the news. My point isn't saying all that. It's been a wild past couple of hours. Now, with that being said, let me address this because I know a lot of people are going to have some questions, and I do want to inform you. For those of you that don't know, the whole controversy with John Calipari even coming back to Kentucky in the first place was the money situation. They would have to pay him $33 million. I believe that was the buyout to be exact, before the year 2029. I'm going to say it one more time. Let me dumb it down here. If Kentucky wanted to fire Calipari after that horrendous loss to, who was it? Not St. Peter's. I'm drawing a blank here. Oh, yeah, Oakland with the Jack Golke kid. If they wanted to fire him after that game, they would have to give him $33 million just to walk away, to leave. And then to go on top of that, you got to pay more money to find a new head coach. So that's the only reason they brought him back in the first place. And I'm not here to talk about what's next for Kentucky. That's a different video for a different day. Maybe we do that tomorrow. But with John Calipari willingly leaving on his own, Kentucky doesn't have to pay him a single dime, and that's great for them. I hate to jump the gun on this because it's not even officially finalized. They're just talking about it. But I think this is a win-win for both programs. If you've been watching my channel dating back to 2020, I've stated that Kentucky should have fired John Calipari in 2020, 4 years ago. So for 4 years on the channel, I've stated that John Calipari is a sleazy car salesman, he's a fraud, and Kentucky needs to fire him. So for the program of Kentucky, you know how I feel. Big time win for them. Now, as far as it goes for Arkansas, my immediate reaction is, yeah, this is also a big time win for them because they currently don't have a head coach. Aaron Musselman just left to USC. And although I have labeled Calipari as a sleazy car salesman, in which he is, I have never stated he's a bad head coach. I've stated he's a really good head coach. I just don't consider him great. And for most teams in the country, getting John Calipari, that's a dream come true. And for Arkansas, I think it's as good as it can get. Arkansas was in a really tough position here because Musselman just left. They had a terrible season. It didn't seem like they were going to get any big time name or even a decent head coach of that. And you wind up with John Calipari? Yeah. I'd take that if I was an Arkansas fan. I will say this though, and I don't want to contradict myself here, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. For me, myself, would I want John Calipari to be the head coach of my team? Absolutely not. But you have to understand who my team is. I'm an Alabama basketball fan. I think Nate Oates is one of the best head coaches, not just in the SEC, but in the nation. I wouldn't go as far as to say Alabama has carried the SEC in the past 3 or 4 years, but we're doing great. We're doing fine without Calipari, so no. I wouldn't take him myself, but Alabama is at the top of the top for the SEC in basketball right now. On the flip side for Arkansas, well, I don't want to say you're at the bottom, but this year it was abysmal. It was awful. And if I was a fan of a team of, did Arkansas even go 500? I don't know if they did, but I know they were around that. Let's just say they went 15-18. If I was a fan of a team that went 15-18, yeah, I'm taking Calipari. Moving along here, and this has just come across my desk as well. It's being stated, I'm told recruits, whoever is tweeting this out, it looks like they're associated with the Kentucky basketball program, who are currently committed to Kentucky, have been contacted about flipping to Arkansas. Ooh. Oh, what about that? And we haven't even talked about that. Like I stated, who's the best sleazy car salesman in the nation? And it's not even close. John Calipari. And this is why I say if you're an Arkansas fan, you got to be head over heels because when it comes to the X's and O's, is John Calipari still one of the best in the game? Absolutely not. Nate Oates runs circles around him. But when it comes to recruiting, he is by far one of the best in the game. It's not even close. That boy Calipari, he is a smooth talker, man. I wouldn't go as far as just saying he's a manipulator of all these young men across the country because his whole gist is, hey, I'm going to get you to the NBA. But man, he knows how to talk, and I'll leave it at that. He says all the right things, man. He never slips up. Even after the loss to Oakland, when you hear him talk, you're like, well, dang, yeah, we probably should give him another year, when in reality, you shouldn't. Let's take a look at this comment, though. How does this make sense for either party? In all honesty, you can't say that Arkansas is on the same level as Kentucky. They're just not even close. Who does BBN turn to? And it's not going to be Dan Hurley. Well, I've already answered the first question. This is great for both parties, and I guess he's saying you can't say that Arkansas is on the same level, so he's referring to why would Calipari want to go there, and I think this is fairly obvious. I think the question should be, why wouldn't Calipari want to go there? Let me ask every single one of you a question. Have you ever been in a room or a place where you know you're not welcome? That's how Calipari feels at Kentucky. And none of us want to be at a place where we're not wanted, and it's clear and evident that Kentucky does not want John Calipari, and he knows that. He's not dumb. If anything, this is a blessing for Calipari, and I think it's why he was clawing at the fence at the opportunity and why he left as fast as he did, or he's going to leave as fast as he is, because he wants to get out. He wants to start fresh, because I can guarantee you not a single person, not a single Arkansas fan is going to be booing him next year. I've watched a lot of Kentucky basketball the past couple of years, and every single year I've heard at least in a couple of games his team get booed at home. Calipari leaving Kentucky, whether he be fired or leave himself, it's long overdue. It's time for a fresh start for Calipari and Kentucky. Sometimes in this life, it's just time to move on, whether that's with your girlfriend, get a new house, new apartment, new car, new lawnmower, new anything. And that's what happened here. Or, let me change that statement, it's what's going to happen, because gotta remind you, as when I'm speaking, not finalized. There's many more things I could say, but I gotta get this video uploaded ASAP. More than likely, we'll talk about this situation tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts down below. But